So originally this was going to be a top 10 cards from the Eldritch Moon set for Pauper format video, and I really wanted it to be that way, and I wanted to do the video that way, but unfortunately the number of cards from the forthcoming set that have any degree of potential in the format is 1. Grapple with the Past. I think it might have some playability in Golgari Dredge, and realistically, it would only be used as a recursion spell to maybe help put things in the grave and get something back. There's a few other cards here and there that might have some potential for the Pauper format, but I don't see anything like being like, yo, I'm for the Pauper format, come at me. Now, this is a question that gets asked a lot, and I feel like I've never found a good enough answer to be that proper answer. Why does Wizards of the Coast rarely give things to the Pauper format? We have pre-constructed decks for the Commander format, we've had modern event decks in the past, we've even had Eternal Masters for Eternal formats, and okay, they did have a few things in there for Pauper, but for a format that is about as budget can go, and is literally the definition of budget magic, you would think that Wizards would at least attempt to capitalize on the potential market of Pauper players. Even the absolutely terrible intro decks could have been retooled to being a Pauper intro deck to be sort of like a side product alongside of their standard intro packs or the Planeswalker decks or whatever they're going to be doing in the future. Another thing I had to note was the set design. I understand that Wizards has to build these sets to be draftable. Booster packs are designed for the draft format, and as a result, you're always going to have a handful of otherwise terrible cards in every set. These cards are jank, they'll have no playability outside of limited, they'll have no constructed playability, and heck, some of them are even unplayable in limited. Commander players can look at the sets and see cards that they might be able to use for their decks every now and then. Modern players look at sets for cards to test in the format. Look at Eldritch Evolution. People are already speculating on the playability of this card and wanting it. Cube players have new cards they can add to their cube at every set. But Pauper players seem to feel left out of this. I propose a shift in this paradigm. Wizards should at least invest a little effort to give us a few Pauper-playable cards in every set. These cards can easily and obviously fill up some of the common slots in a set that go to the otherwise ridiculously terrible other cards. Since these are common cards, there's no real humongous value at risk here for reprinting cards. There are only a very few common level cards that are heavily used in Pauper and have a high price tag that reprinting them might make the prices fall. Or at the very least, a Pauper theme deck. We already get Commander precons every year, and these come chock full of new cards for Commander players to enjoy. I would suggest something like a precon deck, maybe 2 a year, perhaps even a dual deck style set where for, say, $20, you can get a pair of Pauper legal decks. My only condition that is if Wizards were to do this and were to make a product like this, that they do so and make properly constructed decks. I have always felt that outside of Commander products, where obviously it's a necessity, giving players pre-constructed products that do not contain play sets of cards creates a very bad pre-constructed product. Especially for newer players, giving them essentially a starter deck that only has 1 to 2 copies of each card will not properly instruct them in building a deck. It will not encourage any specific strategy because the cards are just kind of bulk for the most part. You get the 2 colors, and that's really about it. Let's look back at the modern event deck that came out a few years ago. You get a 60 card pre-constructed deck with a 15 card sideboard, and this deck was perhaps one of the best built products I've ever seen released from Wizards. You get playsets of key cards. You literally could buy this off the shelves, sleeve it up in something other than those terrible sleeves that were included, and sit down to play some Friday Night Magic and actually have a fighting chance. This should be done more. In Pauper, we're only using common cards. Would it be too much of an expense to give us a pre-constructed product giving a properly built Pauper deck? I feel like it's such a widely played and widely loved format. It's cheaper than any format out there. I built my Pauper Elves deck, a highly competitive and powerful deck, for under $100. You could not build a top tier modern deck for anywhere even near that. Now let me ask you, my viewers, given your experience buying intro packs and booster packs and just playing Magic the Gathering in general, and especially so for those of you who are Pauper enthusiasts, what is your opinion on this? I feel that Pauper is one of the few widely played formats that has the highest accessibility because of the low cost of entry. You don't have to spend a lot of money to get into Pauper. Literally, you can put together a deck for $20 to $30. That's an incredibly cheap deck to build. Do you think Wizards should produce more Pauper playable cards each set? Or produce cards with Pauper in mind? Or even design a pre-con product like a $15 Pauper intro pack? Sound it off in the comments below. I really want to hear some feedback for this. As I've made Pauper videos and interacted more and more with the Pauper community, I feel like there is a great desire to have this format be supported by Wizards. You know, Standard and Modern and Commander all get cards all the time, and they're so supported by Wizards, but Pauper really only just has a page on the Wizards website showing the unofficial ban list. I don't feel like that's nearly enough love for perhaps one of the best budget formats of Magic the Gathering. Let's popularize Pauper so that Wizards will give it the love it so very much deserves. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry if this seemed a little ranty and rambly. If you want to see more videos like this one, hit that like button and let me know you want more. Also, if you're new to the Planeswalker project, welcome first of all, and I hope you consider becoming a subscriber by hitting that red button down below. It really helps the channel grow. And with that, I'll see you all in the next video.